Hi, it's Katrina. From a miniature Loch Ness Monster stranded in the sand to a terrifying fanged skull, here are 10 of the craziest sea monsters ever found on the beach. Number 10. Creature from the Deep. On a beach in Namibia, a bizarre creature roughly 20 feet long washed ashore, and ever since this strange creature was discovered and photographed, people all over the world have been speculating as to what kind of animal it could have been. The creature was discovered by scientists from the Namibian Dolphin Project as they wandered along Sandwich Harbor in Dorob National Park. They noticed something unusual high up on the beach and went to investigate. Upon closer inspection, the group thought that it looked kind of like a whale, but its body was flat and it didn't appear to have any bones. Luckily, the scientists were able to collect samples from the rotting carcass and determine the creature's true origins. It turned out that it did have a skull, and this allowed them to figure out that the sea monster was actually a deep-diving whale known as the Cuvier's beaked whale. These types of whales can grow to be about 23 feet long, and these whales hold the record for the deepest and longest dive of any mammal. It was such a big surprise because these creatures aren't seen very often. The last one spotted in Namibia was nearly 20 years ago. How it got flattened is anyone's guess, but it probably had something to do with an advanced state of decomposition. Unfortunately, the researchers were unable to properly determine the cause of death or what the animal had been eating prior to it washing up on the beach. Scientists will use the samples collected from the corpse to study the animal further. Number 9. Mini Nessie. A man in Georgia recently stumbled upon a miniature Loch Ness Monster. It happened on a Friday afternoon while he and his son were spending their day at the Wolf Island National Wildlife Refuge. While strolling down the beach, they first thought they had stumbled upon a dead seal. But getting a closer look, they realized that they had a mini Loch Ness Monster on their hands. The creature in question was about 5 feet long, had a long and skinny neck, and it even appeared to have flippers just like the real Nessie. Even its head looked oddly familiar. According to residents from the area, this discovery wasn't a surprise. Local legends whisper a creature much like the Loch Ness Monster lives in the region, except its name is actually Altamaha Ha, or Alti for short. Alti is rumored to be a hissing sea serpent that lives near the mouth of the Altamaha River in southeastern Georgia. The legend comes from the Muskogee Creek tribe and has reportedly been seen roaming through the streams and basking on the shore. More recent sightings claim it's about 70 feet long with the thickness of a barrel, the body of a serpent, and the head of an alligator. From the 1920s to today, there have been numerous sightings of a long creature between 10 and 20 feet long that has been lurking in the water. The nearby city of Darien even uses a plesiosaur, which is an ancient marine reptile from millions of years ago that looks a lot like Nessie, in its city logo. But what does this discovery mean exactly? Are there prehistoric monsters breeding in Georgia? Is there a whole platoon of Loch Ness monsters hiding just off the beach? Well, maybe not. According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, many fish resemble prehistoric monsters when they begin to decompose. This monster could have just been a fish, although its remains have yet to be identified. Number 8. Spined Sea Freak. Ocracoke is a small island about 18 miles from the coast of North Carolina. Families come here to relax and get away from the hustle and bustle. It's also a place where monsters wash up on the beach. A local resident was taking a walk on the beach when she stumbled upon a large freak of a fish covered in what can only be described as prehistoric scales. It looked like something right out of the Jurassic period. After the resident snapped some photos and put them online, asking for help in identifying the weird sea creature, several professionals came forward and said that it was not actually a sea monster at all, but a giant Atlantic sturgeon. This is quite interesting because Atlantic sturgeon are actually considered to be living fossils. Those bony plates on their backs are actually the same thing that turtles have on their shells. They are known as scutes and they have been around for millions of years. What makes sturgeons even more like sea monsters is that they have a tail that resembles a shark and whisker barbels hanging from their mouths like a catfish. It's no surprise that when these giant things wash up on shore, people immediately start screaming sea monster. After all, the Atlantic sturgeon can grow to be 16 feet long and weigh 800 pounds. Number 7. Fierce Skull. In 2015, a large, mysterious skull was found on a beach in San Francisco, and researchers are scratching their heads over what kind of giant sea monster it could possibly belong to. It almost resembles a dog with huge canine teeth, but it reportedly measured over 10 feet long and 8 feet tall. This seems a little far-fetched, as that would be a massive dog. What makes this thing even stranger is that based on the size of the skull, estimates place the creature at potentially 40 or 50 feet long. But the question is if this even is a skull. It looks more like some sort of deep-sea anglerfish, and perhaps is the whole creature itself, although many are wondering if it is even real in the first place. Reports of this weird thing were scarce, but questionable news sources said that a researcher named Anthony Moore said that this was not a prehistoric skull that washed ashore, but a creature that most likely died within the last 2 years of its discovery, but there is no definitive proof as to its origins. The skull does not match with anything currently recognized by scientists. While it seems to have enormous canine teeth, nothing like it has washed up since, and it's hard to say if this single incident was a hoax or indeed a real-life monster residing somewhere beneath the waves. Could it have been the only one of its kind? What do you think it is? Or do you know any more information about it? Let us all know in the comments below. Number 6. Mysterious English Monster. At Merseyside Beach in Liverpool, UK, locals are shocked and confused after a sea creature washed up on the sand. The creature measured about 15 feet in length and was covered in fur and had flippers. It was found swarmed in flies, mostly decomposed, and giving off a pretty horrendous stench. One eyewitness called it a mishmash of different things in one. And yes, that's pretty accurate. At first glance, it might look like a weird bloated underwater horse, but if you look at it from another angle, it kind of looks like a dead whale. Whatever it was, it definitely freaked out the locals. The animal was eventually confirmed to be a type of unidentified whale that was in an advanced state of rot when it showed up on the beach. The Ainsdale Sand Dunes National Nature Reserve then went to work to remove the animal's remains as quickly and as efficiently as possible. It didn't turn out to be a sea monster in the end, but those who showed up to the beach that day got a little bit more than they were bargaining for. Number 5. Slimy Sea Thing. Something slimy washed up on a Mexican beach, and it gave sunbathers the shock of a lifetime. Out of all the horrifying things I've shown you, this might be the most unsettling. It was found in Mazatlan by a woman who at first glance thought it was a large piece of rope, but when she got closer, she saw it was actually a sea monster with a mouthful of fangs and dead eyes that seemed to stare straight into her soul. She immediately snapped some photos of the mysterious creature and uploaded them to social media, looking for an answer as to what kind of horrendous beast was invading her stretch of beach. The pictures went viral, and nobody could believe that such a freakish thing had slimed its way out of the deep ocean. Some thought it was an eel or a sea snake, but some people believed it had come from outer space. And while the creature never was truly identified, one of the best theories of all is that the creature was actually a deep-sea lizardfish. These kinds of fish are found in tropical areas across the world and usually hang out at the very bottom near the seabed. These two animals definitely look similar, but unfortunately we'll never know for sure since the body decomposed before any samples could be taken. Number 4. Alien Sea Creature. A bizarre creature that resembled an alien without its spaceship found its way onto a beach in Western Australia, baffling local revelers. Pictures of the extraterrestrial surfaced on Reddit and were quickly spread around the internet. People were immediately shocked, mainly because the animal didn't look like anything that belonged on Earth. It looked like it had a spongy white brain at the top of its mass, with what almost looked like white and black tentacles around its body, like a strange hybrid between a jellyfish and an octopus. The public was stunned for a little while until it was determined the alien monster was actually just a striped anemone. These weird animals grow in the tropical waters mainly near Australia, but the reason this one was so confusing is that anemones usually have more color. This one probably got bleached by the sun, and that's why it looks so odd. These creatures are extremely venomous and can severely hurt anyone that touches them. If you find yourself on a beach in Australia and you see something that looks like it came from another galaxy, don't touch it. Number 3. Fanged Dolphin. Dolphins are often seen as cute and friendly sea creatures, but when locals in Mexico found a strange creature on the beach, there was no way it could be a dolphin. It had the head of a dolphin, the teeth of something from a nightmare, and the body of a large gray snake. It had no flippers, making people seriously question what exactly it was. To make things even stranger, the animal had no eyes. There was no official or expert there to be able to identify it, and locals believed that since it had such a strange appearance, the unusual creature probably came from the deepest depths of the ocean, where there is no light, and many of the creatures don't need eyes to see. Fishermen reported that they had never seen anything like it. Based on the photographs, it seems like it could have been a young dolphin that had not fully developed, or perhaps an eel that died and later swelled up. Officially, the creature was never identified. What do you think it is? Let me know in the comments below. Number 2. Megamouth in the Philippines. The Philippines is a hotspot for frightening and mysterious sea monsters, and a fisherman got the shock of a lifetime when he found a strange bloated creature on shore with an enormous head and face. It was a rare megamouth shark. The real curiosity was that according to professional marine biologist Christopher Bird, less than 70 megamouth sharks have ever been spotted. That makes it an incredibly rare find. Preliminary investigation showed that the shark was male, 15 feet long, and most certainly dead upon arrival. However, no one is sure how it died. Fishermen used a stretcher to carry the shark and bring it closer so scientists could take a look at it. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources in Albay Province will investigate the cause of the shark's death. Very little is known about megamouth sharks, as the species was only discovered in 1976 and it lives in the deep ocean. What we do know is that they are very recognizable since they are so strange looking and they aren't very good swimmers. They can grow pretty large, about 18 feet long. One accidentally captured in fishing nets in 1983 was 14.6 feet long and weighed 1,652 pounds. Scientists were able to get tissue samples for further research. Number 1. Deep sea fish. A whole menagerie of deep sea monsters washed ashore at the same place and at the same time. Conservation volunteers were stunned when they found a fanged tooth and a viper fish on a beach in the St. Cyrus National Nature Reserve south of Aberdeen in Scotland. While one of these fish would have been shocking to find, the fact that there were several of them was even more surprising. The large black fanged tooth was especially impressive. According to a report from the BBC, the fish were gathered up and shown to the park manager. Everyone was bewildered, as these types of fish live only in the deepest parts of the ocean, where there's little light and few other creatures. Nobody could figure out how they washed up on the beach. It was later discovered that a deep-sea fish researcher had caught the animals and took them home to show his children on a trip. When he returned them to the ocean, the tide washed them back to shore where the volunteers found them. Mystery solved. Thanks for watching! Which of these sea monsters did you find the most frightening or shocking? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. See you soon! Bye!